Hello, wonderful interpreters, and thank you again for tuning in. In an unprecedented move, the Department of Labor and Industries has unfortunately decided to ship our jobs outside of the country. Now, please watch this entire video for all of the details. Now, let's get started. So, L&I posted the second installment of answers to questions from the companies competing for their interpretation services contract on August 29th, just 3 days ago. Now, there is a lot to cover though, so I'll keep this video short for time-saving purposes. Now, there will be a follow-up to this video in a few days, but let's continue. So, from the get-go on this document, L&I is making it known that they will be posting a third Q&A document by September 6th, which is in just a few more days in an effort to provide more answers about this process. Also, you can see here that one of the companies requested an extension to the submission deadline so that they would have more time to prepare their proposal. Remember to pause this video at any time in order to read the information that you see on the screen. So, as you can see right here, L&I has extended their question and answer period until September 5th this year, and the due date for companies to submit their proposal has been extended until September 25th also this year. Now, pay attention to questions number 7 and 8 because the answers provided from L&I will be referenced later in this video. One of the companies here is asking if interpreters will be required to have a security clearance and if they're required to be citizens or permanent residents of the U.S. L&I responds by establishing that interpreters need to have a UBI number or business license, a tax ID, a U.S. tax ID, and the U.S. driver's license. Now, they're making sure you know that this requirement is only for interpreters providing in-person interpretation services. Remember this for later in the video because this is important. They also say here that interpreters must have an MPI number, which of course is a requirement that they implemented 2 years ago when Interpreting Works was given the contract for the scheduling system. You also need a social security number or a tax identification number in order to be able to obtain this document. Most of you know this, right? L&I finishes their answer to questions 7 and 8 by promising data security measures to be required for any future company contracting with interpreters. Let's see how that goes. Now, for those of you that may not know, there are several types of tax identification numbers used by the IRS, and most interpreters needing this to get the MPI number usually get the individual taxpayer identification number, better known as an ITIN number. And just as a reminder, you only need to get this number from the IRS to get your MPI if you're not eligible to get a social security number. Now let's continue. And finally, here you have what you all came to see in this video. The most shocking news from L&I revealing their plan to outsource our jobs outside of the country. Actually, you know what? I'm going to get myself out of the way. I'm going to make this way bigger. So hold on. Give me a second, please, right here. Now, look at the questions from these companies. They're asking if interpreters are required to be in the United States to provide these services. What? Can we outsource outside United States interpreters? Look where this is going. And are remote interpreters from other countries allowed and expected to provide services? Oh yeah, this just happened. Oh, and L&I just casually said yes, of course. Look at this right here. Services provided outside of the United States will only be for video remote interpretation or VRI and for over-the-phone interpretation or OPI. There you have it. Oh, and of course, they're quote-unquote promising that preference will be given to interpreters located here in Washington. Ha! Do you believe these promises from L&I without a certified union representing us? Get out of here. Oh, but that's not all. L&I is also saying here that the new company will be in charge of making sure that these out-of-country interpreters supposedly have certifications equivalent to DSHS certifications. It continues to say that the new contractor will also be responsible for conducting background checks and complying with out-of-country payment regulations. Are you kidding me? Are you for real, L&I? Wow. And just like that, our jobs will be gone for good. As I have said before, and you all should know by now, video and telephonic jobs have been historically devalued and underpaid by the state of Washington, thanks to the geniuses and leaders from the WFSE and Interpreters United Union. You see, you know what's going to happen with time? L&I will fall in love with how cheap these services are, especially when they can pay pennies on the dollar for any interpreter from outside of our country with a fake certificate. Yes, this is our future. L&I will get rid of in-person interpreters to save money, just like WFSE leaders dream and like it. Oh, don't be surprised. You know these WFSE leaders told you to get used to video and telephonic appointments back in 2020. Didn't you see one of my last videos? And guess what? Even now, as we speak, several large hospitals and many clinics are leading the way with these new means of communication. Yes, this is happening. You know, sadly, I'm not shocked this is happening because I exposed this agenda from WFSE a long time ago. It's really amazing, though, how the members from the Interpreters United Union keep paying union dues and supporting a union that did it to them first. Oh yeah, don't you remember? They destroyed their DSHS and DCYF jobs. And they have been letting the state ship many of these jobs out of Washington for them. This is why I have been defending in-person interpretation for years with Washington interpreters. But now, here we are. In closing, this is why I keep on fighting with Washington interpreters. We have brought you all the election process for an opportunity to fix this and get rid of WFSE. Yes, I know, I have said it before. Many of you voted for us, but a good amount of you decided to vote for WFSE because all of a sudden you had the bright idea of listening to some of the worst interpreters and ex-agency owners that you know very well had monopolies in the L&I system, pre-scheduling system. You know this. Yes, many of you, long-time and established L&I interpreters pre-scheduling system, decided to vote for them. Yes, you listened to the same individuals that victimized you and excluded you from clinics in the past. Yeah, you did this. Yes, we've had 3 chances so far to correct this. But you know what? Those individuals told you, oh, vote for WFSE. It's all about not letting Juan and Washington interpreters win. We can't have that, right? Yeah, that's the game they played. And guess what? You chose hate instead of voting with your conscience. And do you know what those individuals are doing now? Of course you know. Some of those individuals are now working as paralegals for some of these L&I lawyers, and they are siphoning patients out of several clinics to take them to their preferred facilities. Yes, in order to keep their monopolies just like before. And you know what many of you are doing? Of course you know what. You're still paying commission for those appointments they offer you when you don't even have to do that anymore. But of course, you keep on doing it. And now L&I just made this move. L&I in the future will get rid of in-person interpretation and outsource our jobs, as you just saw in this presentation, this video, to out-of-country interpreters with less qualifications because it's going to be cheap. And those individuals that you trusted, many of those individuals that ruined the L&I system, pre-scheduling system, are laughing all the way to the bank right now with a lot of your money, and they don't care because they have set up their next move anyways, because those individuals never had a sense of community. They were only in it for themselves from the beginning, and you thought they were your friends because they invited you to their restaurant and businesses and offered you some beers, chelas, and laughed with you a little bit and gossiped. You thought this was a game? This is not a game. This is what we're facing now. But of course, I will keep on fighting with Washington interpreters until the end. But I'll tell you something, my friends. That end is getting very close. I hope we have an election again. Maybe we will. Maybe we won't. But remember, like I have told you in the last several videos that I have posted, this is on you if you voted for WFSE. Hopefully we'll get another opportunity. I don't know. I'll see you in the next video.